Hello there students and welcome back to this video series. This is your instructor Dhruvi Bhatt, and from the previous lecture we started our discussion about management. We understood that management is a combination of science and art. We understood that management and administration are two different terms and management is done by different lower levels of management. Today we would be discussing what are different types of manager or what are different levels of management, and at each level who are different managers, the skills which are required by these managers, and lastly we would be discussing about roles of the manager in any organization. Starting firstly with, of course, what are different types of manager or what are different levels of management. Management is divided into three different levels. The first level is top level of management. Of course, this is the level which accounts for the administration of entire organization. Secondly, top level management is responsible for decision making in any organization. They have to do the thinking function. They will lay out the objectives or policies for the organization. They will make sure that all the crucial decisions are taken correctly. Top management is responsible for the profits or the mission of the organization. They are responsible to make sure that whatever is the aim of the organization is satisfied completely. Secondly, they need to devise policies and plans for other managers to work upon. They will design instructions for the next level of managers. Who account for these top level of managers, or who are the different types of manager present in the top level? The chairperson, the board of directors, the CEO, general manager, all these account for the top level of management. He can be the director, managing director of a company, CEO of a company, CFO, chief financial officer of a company, CTO, chief technical officer of a company, etc. They account for top management and they lay out roles and responsibilities for other managers. The next level of management is middle level of management. The middle level of managers are, as it sounds, quite in between the top level and the lower level of management. They need to make sure that lower level of management work properly on daily basis. Secondly, whatever the plans and policies are designed by the top level of management are properly conveyed to lower level of management. Whatever work is done by the lower level of management is properly conveyed to the top level of management. They need to make sure that all the grievances of lower level of management are solved by discussion with top level of management. They are responsible for the smooth flow of management in the organization. Who are different types of managers in this middle level? Head of departments or deputy managers can be the middle level managers. After the middle level management, we have the third level, which is the lowest level or the lower level of management. At this level, the employees need to make sure that the work done by the workers is proper. They need to be present at the site of work every day. They need to be constantly in touch with the workers, and they need to make life easier for the workers, because below lower level management we would be directly having the workers of the organization. Lowest level of managers, as they are nearest to the workers, they are responsible towards conveying the proper responsibilities of the workers. Also, they are responsible for maintaining the reputation of the organization in eyes of the workers. They are responsible to make sure that workers do proper work each day. They need to take report of each and every worker, the ongoings of the daily work. Who are different low level of managers? Low level of managers constitute of supervisors, inspectors, sector officers, etc. These are the people who deal with workers on daily basis and make sure that work is done effectively and efficiently. We understood here that there are three different levels of management: top level of management, middle level of management, and low level of management. We have different types of managers working on each and every level, and obviously their organizational structure would vary according to these levels. Did you notice that we have written the levels in form of a triangle? Why so? Because as we go below in these levels, the number of managers appointed at that level increases. We have very less managers at the top level, more than those at the middle level, and maximum number of managers are at the lowest level of management. Let us see that which are different skills that each of these levels require. Each of these levels require three types of skills: technical skills, human skills, conceptual skills. I'll explain each of these skills to you, and after that we will check that which level requires much of which skill. The first skill is technical skill. Technical skill is the skill of the work a manager is managing. Suppose there is an IT engineer who is a project manager in an IT firm. He is managing junior web developers or junior mobile app developers. For him, the technical skill is the skill of development of website or a mobile application. Similarly, if we talk about a hospital, the technical skill would be the knowledge of operation or the knowledge of medicines. Technical skills are the skills related to the job a manager is in. Who do you think requires maximum of technical skill? It is very much evident in the pyramid here, students. Maximum technical skill is required by the low level manager, little bit is required by middle level managers, and the high level or top level managers require very little of technical skills because they need to do more of a thinking function and less of an executing function. Both of these have to indulge in executing function, and that is why they must be possessing very good technical skills. The second type of skill is human skills. Human skills must be appropriately possessed by all the three levels. Human skills must be appropriately present in all the three levels because all of these have to communicate with lot of people. They have to communicate with workers, so they require human skills. They have to communicate with top level managers as well as low level managers. That is why they require human skills to the maximum. Top managers have to actually communicate with other people outside the organization, and that is why they require human skills. What are different human skills? All different skills which you think a person must possess, like communication skills, leadership skills, empathy, honesty, decision making skills. All these skills constitute of human skills. The last but not the least are conceptual skills. Conceptual skills basically only focus upon thinking skills or decision making skills. Here, conceptual skills must be maximum required by the top management, a little bit less by the middle level management, and minimum by the lower level management. Lower level management have to hardly make any significant decisions. They need to make decisions related to workers, but they are not very much significant as far as the goals of the organization are concerned. So, lower level management and middle level management have to take decisions which are not very crucial, but top level management have to take many crucial decisions, and that is why they require very high amount of conceptual skills, thinking skills, or decision making skills. To make it easier for you, I have designed a pyramid which will showcase you that which type of management requires which skill. Top management requires highest of conceptual skills, a little bit of course, human skills, and least of technical skills. The middle level of management requires somewhat of conceptual skills, high amount of human skills, and a little bit of technical skills too. The last or the low level of management would require very less conceptual skills, little bit of human skills as they have to deal with workers, and maximum they would require technical skills. We are now aware about 3 different skills and which type of management requires which skills. Let us move further and understand what are different roles that a manager has to play. Henry Mintzberg gave us different roles in which a manager can be. He, as a single person, has to play different roles. He here can mean a top level manager, a middle level manager, or a low level manager. Any level manager has to play some roles as a manager. What are all these different roles were given by Henry Mintzberg, and I'll explain them to you one by one. They are actually categorized into 3 major heads. The first are interpersonal roles. Interpersonal roles means the role in which they need to communicate or they need to work with other individuals. The first role is interpersonal role. Second is informational role, where they will gather information and they will distribute information to make sure that whatever information is needed reaches to the proper place whenever it is needed. And last but not the least, they need to play some decisional roles. They are into the role of decision making and they need to play a decisional role. Students, interpersonal role is communicating with others and working with others. Informational role means collecting and organizing information. Decisional role, taking somewhat of crucial decisions. Let us see how these 3 roles are interconnected with each other. As an interpersonal role, information will be gathered and provided to the manager with informational role. The manager with informational role will process this information, and the manager in decisional role will use this information. Here the information is generated in interpersonal role by working together. This particular information is processed, or we can say analyzed, in informational role, and it is used in making some decisions. This is how these 3 roles are interrelated, and whatever decisions are made, a proper feedback is provided to the informational and interpersonal managers or the managers in those roles. Students, here a single manager can also play all these roles, or there can be different managers for all these 3 different roles. Okay. Amidst these 3 roles, we have different managerial roles given by Henry Mintzberg. Let us understand them in detail. Firstly, starting with interpersonal roles. What are different interpersonal roles? The first role of a manager is of a figurehead. As a figurehead, he is into an ornamental role where he needs to be present at different ceremonies. He or she is the face of the organization here. They need to sign different contracts on behalf of organization. They need to be present at a maybe ribbon cutting ceremony at different locations so that their organization is known to more of a people. So they act as a figurehead or head of the organization in front of media, in front of different other people. The second role is their role as a leader. They need to be a very good leader because managers would set an example for workers. They will lead the organization and the workers of the organization towards a set goal. So they are in the role of a leader. Lastly, they are in the role of a lesson. As in the role of a lesson, they will make sure that communication is properly flowing in the organization. They need to make sure that there is a proper and open communication amongst the workers, or all the grievances are properly conveyed all the plans and policies are properly conveyed, whether it is from top to bottom or from bottom level to top level, in both these direction communication flows properly. That is the aim of a manager as a liaison. Moving forward to the next category of roles, which is informational roles. As an informational role, firstly the manager is in the role of a monitor. He needs to monitor on daily basis whatever relevant information is available in the market of the organization, whether it is available from the newspapers, magazines, from different media channels, whatever, wherever, in whichever field you are a manager, you need to gather the information related to that field in daily basis, or I would say on very minute basis. You need the information whichever is available to you with regards to the organization. Once you gather the information, second role of the manager is as a disseminator. The information must flow in the organization, internal to the organization, only to the departments which need that type of information. We need to make sure that information reaches the correct hands. Otherwise, that particular information will be misused. So as a disseminator, manager will segregate or differentiate the information required by different departments, and it will send that information only to that department which requires that type of information. Say for example, how much a particular radio advertisement costs. Is the information required only by the marketing department? That information must not flow to the production department of the organization. Otherwise, there is a possibility of conflicts. There is a possibility of problems within the workers, of funds being distributed unevenly, etc. So make sure that as a disseminator, the information which flows in the department is relevant to the department only. Lastly, as we are taking care of the information flowing internally in the organization, a manager has to take care of the information flowing external to the organization as well. He acts as a spokesperson of the organization. He makes sure that whatever information goes to the media or to the competitors or to other organizations is very stipulated, limited, and the one which cannot be misused. To make sure that whatever is to be told is only told, he will work as a spokesperson on behalf of the organization. Last type of roles which we would be discussing are the decisional roles of a manager. In taking decision, the first role of him is as an entrepreneur. When a manager takes up any decision, he needs to think of the organization as being his or her own organization. He needs to make sure that the profit of organization is their profit, and that is why they are in the role of an entrepreneur or the owner of the organization. They need to make sure that the work is done effectively and efficiently, which is the aim of each and every entrepreneur. Maximum profits and minimum investment. Secondly, they need to balance the disturbances. They act as disturbance handler. If there are any types of disturbances in the organizations, they will come forward as firefighters and they will handle that disturbances. What are these disturbances that need to be handled? Firstly, students, there can be a problem amongst workers. They might be feeling overworked or underpaid. That is one type of disturbance. There can be disturbance where you might be lacking resources. There can be disturbance where your sales might be declining, etc. All these types of problems come uninvited in an organization, and manager has to make sure that they are handled smoothly. Thirdly, he also acts as resource allocator. Which department will gain how many resources, whether these are the raw materials for production or whether the resources finance. Each and every resource must be properly allocated to different departments of the organization so that there is no biasness towards a particular department. This is the role of a manager. Lastly, he is in the role of a negotiator. A manager comes across different types of negotiation on daily basis, negotiating for a salary of an employee, negotiating for different prices of raw materials, negotiating for different types of business deals, negotiating for different types of investments. All these negotiations must be handled effectively by the manager, and here all his roles are completed. That's all about the lecture, students. Thank you so much for such patiently listening to me. This is Dhruvi Bhatt signing off. Until next time. Bye-bye.